movies for black girl nerds.
I'm wonderful, Mr. Gunn. How are you doing today?
I'm really good. Really
Thank you.
good.
Thank you for so much for this time. And I'm very, very curious to talk to you. You have this property that you're handed to, and you can have a lot of creative freedom. After the shiny go ahead and do as you will wears off, is it daunting, or was it like, what was it like for you after that point to set out to bring it to life?
Yeah, no, it was never daunting. It was only a joy. It was truly a joy from start to finish. There are, of course, times when, throughout the process that I go, are people going to get this? But, I don't know if that's the case, so I felt the same way on the first Guardians. I'm like, am I making Pluto Nash right now? I don't know. It's like, it's scary. You wake up at 3:00 in the morning. I didn't have that much fear with this, but I knew I was taking big swings and going to take risks. But I also felt like a responsibility towards taking risks and trying something different. If I'm going to be given the amount of freedom I'm given, then why not try some different stuff and see what happens and see what works? But it wasn't really daunting. It was really fun. And we had things that were problem with scheduling the movie. We had, some problems with, figuring out the exact edit and things like that. But in terms of the process of making this movie, it was the easiest I ever had.
I mean, there is a lot to consume, and it was really fun. And the comedy and all of the action kind of intermingled. With taking those risks, you're introducing also some new characters that we have an opportunity to meet. What is the fine line to bringing in these new faces and still keeping that formula that's audience of love with these characters that are already beloved to fans?
Well, I mean, hopefully I could break the formula a little bit and still have it work. I love Margot as Harley Quinn, and I love Viola as Amanda Waller. And I love not only those two actors as those characters and as other characters, I also love those characters in the comic book separated from those two actors. Mm-hmm. So to me, that came in, like, that was a little bit easier. I really feel Harley when I'm writing her. I really feel like Waller when I write her. I am Waller because I'm the one who's pushing the button on all these people. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I that part was the more baked in part. But with some of the other characters, I think Jai was really set in who he was as Boomer. But I think we played a little bit with Rick Flag, who's coming in from the other movie. He's a little bit of a different character than he was. We wanted to give him more of a struggle in terms of his ideals and what those mean in today's world, today's America. And then also giving him a little bit more of a light touch in terms of his sense of humor that he didn't so much have in the first movie. So there's stuff that changed, stuff that stayed the same. And then, of course, we introduced a million other characters that are their own thing.
Yeah, there's some fun stuff going on in there. I like that Rick Flag in particular had a little bit of more emotional depth, and we got to see some different layers to him. So that was pretty fun to see that.
Yeah.
With now that you still have these creative license or to do some certain things, if you could make 2 more films and create, say, some origin stories for any of the characters that haven't been explored already, who would you want to make some origin stories about?
Well, I know the origin stories for most of the characters, but definitely, definitely I think that there's more to be seen from Ratcatcher. I love, Polka Dot Man. I love, by Ratcatcher, I mean Ratcatcher 2, not Ratcatcher 1. I love Weasel. And so I think that really, I don't think there's any one of these characters that couldn't have their own HBO Max TV show. I think they could all do something pretty cool if we had the time to do all of them. But Peacemaker's the first one we're focusing on, and then we'll go from there.
That's a pretty awesome jumping off point. Well, I thank you for your time, sir. This was really, really a fun movie, and I like the differences. I thought it was pretty cool. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Rick Flag has changed a lot since the first time we met him. What would you say is the most significant change to him this go around?
Well, yeah, it almost feels like a different character, right? And that was sort of by design. One of the first conversations I had with James when we sat down and talked about the script was that, this version of the Suicide Squad, it kind of exists in its own universe. It's not a sequel and it's not completely a reboot. It's somewhere in between. So I didn't want to feel like bogged down by my first iteration of the character. I really wanted to go with the tone that James had written and the tone that James had seen for the character. And it was more a looser Rick Flag that wasn't so, that didn't hate everyone and everything. Like a little warmer, warmer sensibility towards the other characters, and also, I had quite a bit of funny lines, which was great, and he kept throwing me these funny moments. So I really wanted to lean into that, and also I had a lot of less exposition to do in this iteration. In the first movie, I felt like I was a bit of a plot donkey, letting everyone know what's going on, what's happening, where we're going, and who we are. So for me, it was a more joyful experience shooting the film. It was more fun and loose.
Would you say, being that was a different route for you leading into that comedy, did you feel more comfortable leaning more into that type of an emotion? You have a range of emotions you're able to convey, but did that feel comfortable to you?
I mean, I wouldn't say comfortable, because it was definitely the big challenge for me on this, because I've never had lines like that before. I've never had lines that are intentional, that the intention with those lines is that it's supposed to be funny. That hasn't really come on my table before. I've been very much an sort of intense drama guy. So that was the challenge, and I loved it. I've been wanting to do things that are more comedic, but it's hard to sort of break out of your little box that you get when you start a career and you get success in doing one thing, and then people see you as that, and then it takes a special kind of director to sort of move you out of that box, and James did that on this with me, so I'm very grateful for that.
This is a big platform to do a little pivot in your career for people to see something different. So there could be worse places to do that.
Yep, for sure.
Speaking of intersecting that kind of comedic with your dramatic background, for me, it's always about the superhero walks. It's dramatic and it's funny to me at the same time. What is the key to getting the superhero walk right? Because it is, up here, but in a film like Suicide Squad, you do have those comedic beats that you have to hit.
Yeah. You mean like the actual walk, how you walk?
The whole.
Yeah.
I am Rick Flag.
I am Flag. Yeah. No, it's you just got to feel it,
Mm-hmm. And lastly, if Rick Flag was to split off and start his own faction, a Suicide Squad faction of the current members that we already know, who would you take? If you could take 2 or 3 with you, who would you take with you to start kind of your own faction?
Well, I mean, he'd definitely take Harley.
Mm-hmm.
He'd take Boom, and probably King Shark.
Hey, that's a pretty kick-ass faction. I would take it.
I realized my computer was dying there. We're dying.
I feel you. I've been there. Your background is nice, though.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I thank you so much for your time. This was a very fun movie for me, and I enjoyed it. Thank you again.
All right, thanks so much. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Hello, Michael. How are you doing? I like your dapper hat. Looking handsome.
Well, thank you, Jeandra. I love this hat. My man up in Oregon builds these things for me, and I got some beaver ones and some rabbit hat. I got just different materials. I really, really enjoy this Panama it is one of my absolute favorite ones. Yeah.
I like it. I can dig it. And I can dig Savant. You know, he's clearly a man who can do some things. He's seen some things. He's a bad dude. But everybody has to draw their line somewhere. Even no matter where on the spectrum you lie, you have to draw the line somewhere, which you won't do. What do you think is the end all for him, since he's sort of an unwilling participant in this potential mission?
Unwilling, yeah. And well, he's willing only, but he's not, you know what? He's this guy, he's got a lot of talent, he can do a lot of things, and he has done a lot of things, and a lot of bad things, I may add. A very talented, one of these guys that can see the target, shoot the target, you know, no, almost no aiming. It's just all by feel, you know, that kind of stuff. And I really don't know if he has. It depends on the situation. We all can go extremely far, or we can all pull back. He's definitely not a sheep. But in our movie, we wanted to show opposites. So you know, we wanted to show like stuff where you're looking at some guy, you're checking them out, and you're like, oh, and they turn out just the opposite, or they turn out completely a little bit more squirrely than you thought, or more, you know, not exactly what you think you see is what you get. And James Gunn's very good at that. He did that in Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Yondu, you're thinking Yondu is this jerk of yeah. And then you watch two and you go, and then you realize, oh, all those things that he was doing was for a reason, for a more specific thing, and more something to the heart, you know, and it got you in the end, and it got you good. And so same thing, I think, albeit for Suicide Squad, is a way more crazy script. So I think I think the audience is going to be pleasantly surprised, and hopefully there's going to be some funny stuff in there as well.
There's quite a bit of funny stuff. I know I had quite a number of giggles during the course of the ride. You're not a stranger to big projects like this. It's a lot. In addition to filming the movie, just the obligations afterwards to make sure that we know it's out there, so we can all go out, enjoy it, and see it for ourselves. When you've done this as many times as what is your view of the bridge at this point, just before the audience gets to see it, as you make your way through all these media obligations?
Well, you know what? I've been really super busy. So there's been many other things that, you know, that I try to get done via social media and stuff like that. But when you're on set filming, it's very difficult. And you're in places where you don't really have Wi-Fi, or not even a few of these joints didn't even have a Cat 5, you know. So I was kind of media blackout for a while, but now that I'm back in the U.S., I'm back here in L.A. and I'm going to Atlanta and stuff. I'm going to be adding some more stuff into my social media stuff, and that's part of the obligation, and also what we're doing right now is part of it as well. And it, you know, and I tend to enjoy it. It's okay, and have a good time doing it. You know, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Well, we're pleased that you make some time for us. Lastly, if you could switch with any of the characters, which one would you want to switch with? Savant's cool, but if you could switch, who would you do it with?
Oh, Savant's way cool, baby. Savant's way cool. But I got to tell you, I love my buddy. I love my buddy Flula, and we get down and laugh our asses off. I mean, this guy is so fun and fun-loving and funny. I love him dearly. And you know what? Anytime I do some crazy film with that man. Yeah, indeed.
That's awesome. Well, I thank you so much.
Javelin. I guess a javelin would be the guy then. Yeah, I love the whole javelin thing. You know, I threw javelin back in when I was actually. I threw some javelin. Yeah, so good stuff.
See, and now I got to go down in your archives. I thank you so much for your time. This was a really fun ride, and I'm excited for other folks to see it. Thank you again.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank
See you
you.
next time. Bye.
Nathan, I have been looking forward to this moment ever since I saw the trailer, because all I kept thinking was, if only I could send my hands to do this. I need it, like get things off the shelf and kill this spider, please, Mom. When you got to see yourself for the first time with the arms kind of levitating, like in the trailer, what did you think the first time you saw that?
That's a dream come true. I collect. Sorry, I got cat here. I got a cat on my lap right now. This is like a James
Oh, I got
Bond
Regal
moment.
Beast up here, but he's in the other
I
room.
noticed that. I noticed that first thing. I have yet to do that with this guy. But when I was a kid, we had so many comics. My dad had a comic book rack.
Mm.
Like when you went to the drugstore and you could spin that metal rack and there's all those comics in little slots. We had one of those. My brother and I would trade it into our bedrooms. Like he could have it for a week, then I would have it for a week. I was steeped in comics. When I saw that scene where my arms fly off my body, I said, finally.
Is your brother jealous?
I think my brother would be more jealous if he didn't have a great job that he was great at, but there is certainly an aspect of my job that is fantasy, and it's incredibly fun. So yeah, he must be.
A little bit, but the brother always loves you. This is a huge film. A lot of people have been looking forward to it. You're in the film, but now it's done and you're waiting for the world to see it. How do you feel at this point, the anticipation, waiting for the rest of the world getting to see it?
You know, what I found it very interesting that James was handed this property with so much trust. They just gave it to him and said, do whatever you want. And he kept pushing them and saying, what if I want to do this? They said, great. And can I do this? Yeah. Can I introduce anybody? Yeah. Can I kill somebody? Yeah. Anybody I want? They said yes to. So those auspices, I was very excited to see what James would come up with. And now I'm very excited for everyone else to see what happens when the money guys who own the property just take their hands off it and hand it to an artist with vision, someone who we know we can trust. We know we can trust James Gunn. We know it. It's nice to see someone else doing it.
There are a lot of thrilling things that happen from the action, just the costuming, just the way you all look and the way you all interact with each other. When you are immersed in a property like this with this group of people, what is the energy like on a strenuous day when you're doing a lot of the running around and jumping around on those really, really big moments in the film?
You know, it's almost like showing up to a costume party where everybody's costumes are phenomenal. You know, so you have that, you can, oh my God, this looks so great. And we can all admire each other for the work that someone else has poured into these incredible wardrobe pieces while we're standing around on this incredible set piece. Like the excitement is very high because the amount of work that's poured into it, just the spectacle of it. We're all in that. We're all looking at seeing the same thing you guys are seeing. So it's very exciting. It can be, the stakes can get high if it weren't for the fact that these are all incredibly professional people who know their jobs very, very well. There's nobody going, what should we do? There's nobody saying, what do we do? You've got James with an incredible vision. We've got a wonderful script. You've got these incredible set pieces, wardrobe pieces, and then these professionals who know what they're doing. Watching everybody being really, really good at their jobs is incredibly satisfying. Being able to participate on that level, there is a smoothness to it. The job is easy at that point.
That's awesome. Well, you guys work very hard. You're very generous with that, but I know it's not easy. I thank you so much for your time. Bye, Kitty. It was good to see you make your cameo. Send your writer to us, and thank you again for your time.
See you later.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerves. Better shake your booties for black girl nerves.